Well, after a long impatient wait, I finally have my trailer back from the manufacturer. But let me show you what they did first before I get into what I'm going to do next. Now, isn't this an improvement from what you last saw?
This is my galley when ripped apart, and this is what it looked like before modifications.
This is the new galley that replaced the old one I didn't like. And as you can see immediately, it has a lot of counter space. Counter space here above the stove, as well as there's no sink and there's no faucet. So the whole top can be used as a counter space. This glass area can actually be used as a cutting board, but when lifted up, you've got the 2-burner stove. It's a Suburban. Nice, neat stove. I took away a shelf that was there and a few little things that were hanging around I didn't need. I did keep the refrigerator, which is a Nova Cool. I wasn't going to throw this out. They're about $1,000 and it's DC, which is what I want. The furnace is still there. It is a little noisy, but it is effective. I don't expect to use it a lot anyway. But what it frees up is this large area here. And I haven't decided. It's going to be storage, but I could do swing out doors and have shelves inside there, or I could have pull-out drawers. I'll decide in a little while. But I like this a lot better than what was there before.
Another potential horror story was what happened when a lot of the water and plumbing components were removed. It left big gaping holes on the outside of the trailer. This was another reason I only wanted the experts to do this and not me. Look what was left after the water heater was removed. Yet see the final results the guys at Trillium did. Not only was it a fantastic patch-up, but the finish was perfect, just like those holes were never there. Amazing! And where the water tank and power box was, is now storage with a door for access. But I didn't ditch the power converter. It was just moved to a better location on the other side of the galley. Another adder was a thermostat and 110 outlet at the rear wall of the galley, plus a 12-volt outlet with voltage display and 2 USB ports.
Now remember how cramped it looked with the bunk beds in place? This is what it looks like now with the bunk beds removed, and there's lots of space. And the bunks actually came up to this level, which means the lower bed was strictly for sleeping. You couldn't do anything else down here, and you didn't have access to anything else below. So let me just show you what's beneath the cushions now. There is the new space. This is where the water heater was, which took up the whole space. There's no water heater now, so I've got all of this for storage and have pretty easy access to it. Just remove the cushion. Now the other thing they would have never used is this table. Easy to set up. It flips up like that, goes in the locks, leg comes down. Now if you really want to socialize, you can have a party, you can have a few people over for beer, cards, whatever. And if you need extra space for planning and whatever, you can convert the bed into this nice table area. I'll still use it primarily as a bed, but it's nice to have this. And there's also a storage area underneath that side as well. In the last video, when I first revealed this trailer, I showed it kind of at its worst because the galley was ripped out and there is just a bare shell behind there. And a lot of people kind of freaked out on that. They kind of made comments about the insulation, like there's no insulation in your trailer. Well, that's not true. There is insulation in the trailer. As a matter of fact, all the exposed internal areas are insulated not only with this marine fabric, but they're also insulated with a layer of foam behind it. So yes, the trailer is insulated. However, in behind the galley and the benches, anywhere where there's the fiberglass cavities, it is not insulated. It is just the bare fiberglass shell. And part of the reasoning for that is, well, that is a layer of insulation because these are sealed up and it forms a pocket between the cold outside and the warm inside. Now, that might not be enough for some people, and a lot of people just said, well, why don't you just insulate it more anyway? Because there can never be too much insulation, right? Yes, however, how do you know how effective it is? In order for me to do that and to do it properly in a video, I need to have a benchmark. And this is the perfect time to benchmark how well it heats up because it's winter, it's cold. So all I have to do is heat up the trailer, find out how long it takes to heat up to room temperature, turn the heater off, and see how long it takes for it to dissipate. That way I have the benchmark and I can base that on any new additions of insulation I put in later on. That makes a little bit more sense than just putting stuff in and not knowing how effective it is. Now, when I said the walls had extra insulation, I wasn't referring to the windows because the windows are all single pane, and it's only the one at the front that has the cover that could probably provide some additional insulation. The others really have to rely on curtains until I do something a little bit more, like add Reflectix or add bubble wrap or something like that. There's a lot of possibilities, but I just haven't decided the way to do it yet. Now, a few people were curious, what happened to Abner, my old trailer? Well, you'll be happy to know Abner isn't that far away. Because they're so close together, I can do some really good comparisons right now regarding space, storage space, and how well they both heat. Well, here it is. Old Abner, my A-frame. Still alive? Not very well, but it's still alive. I haven't got rid of it yet, so that gives me a good chance to do some comparisons. And the first one I wanted to sort of give you a comparison on is space. What I really like about A-frames is you do have that feeling of being open. I mean, because the ceiling is so high, you have that openness and pretty easy to walk around, use the cabinets, use the counter. I do like its openness. Now, as for space in the Outback, I don't have an issue with it. It does seem a little bit more confined than an A-frame, but depending on how tall you are will make the biggest difference. Because as you can see, I think I'm about 5'9", and I'd say there's about 5 inches height above my head in this peak area. But I have a tape measure, so let's find out exactly what it is. From floor to ceiling is just under 74 inches, which is 188 centimeters, I guess. That's enough for me, but yeah, if you're tall, you probably have issues with a trailer like this. And not only that, you're going to have issues when you sleep because the width is about 78 inches. Because the A-frame has a lot more space, it's hard to get it in one picture. So I'm using my fisheye lens for this. As far as width goes, the A-frame is about 77 inches, which is 195 centimeters. And the height at the peak, is that right? Is 96 inches, which is 244 centimeters. So there is a lot more height at the peak, although that's only the peak, that's not at the sides. It's only head height right here.
That feeling of a large tent or A-frame style chalet certainly adds to the appeal. But how do the two trailers actually compare in volume? Here's an early shot of Abner in its upright configuration. Now compare that with my new Outback in tow. I had heard that an A-frame was classified as a 17-foot trailer, while the small eggshell campers were only 13 feet. But when I measured from ball to spare tire, I got 16-foot 1 for Abner and 14-foot 3 for the Outback. The interior length of the A-Liner was 140 inches or 3.56 meters, while the Outback was only 119 inches or 3.02 meters. Since the two shots were taken from a similar angle and distance, I can actually superimpose one over the other. As you can see, the A-Liner is certainly taller and longer. In measuring each trailer for volume, I ignored the furnishings. My old A-frame came in around 400 cubic feet, while the Outback was around 360 cubic feet. There's no doubt the Outback is smaller, almost 2 feet less in length, but does that mean there's less storage space? Don't forget the A-frames all fold down while in transit. My A-frame had the advantage of more space in the bottom half, which does allow for more items under the benches and beds. However, around 40 cubic feet of space is in the peak, somewhere that I did not utilize. In observing this comparison of unused space at the peak of the A-frame, it beckons the question, does that extra area above your head affect how the A-frame heats up, as well as how it retains its heat? It seems a good comparison would be a trailer with only minimal headroom, like the Outback.
One thing I gotta laugh at, and I've even used the term myself, is when people call a trailer a 4-season trailer. Because I said I was looking for a 4-season trailer. In reality, there is no such thing as a 4-season trailer. It's a salesman ploy. It's like using the word organic. Well, yeah, crude oil is also organic. So you gotta take that with a grain of salt. Some salesmen, they use that term to charge more money, to make a trailer heavier, and to make people think that it's good for any condition and any temperature. And that's bull. And most people understand that. It is easy to insulate a trailer. However, it doesn't make it any easier if you can't drive through 4 feet of snow. Or if it's 120 degrees in your Death Valley in August. I don't care what your air conditioner is going to be. It's not meant for that. They use their own definitions, and I have mine. What I'm looking for when I say I want a 4-season trailer is one that I can use in the 4 seasons that I travel in that I feel comfortable with. Does that help? Probably not. I really hoped to do the temperature comparison in this video. I had both trailers set up to heat up and cool down, but the weather kept fluctuating. The temperature would drop. On one it would drop down and the other it would increase, and so I couldn't get consistent results. And I even had a beam of light come right across onto the thermometer and totally destroy the shot. So I will do that next time, but in the meantime, I know people really want me to get into the modifications, and I want to too. So this was only an introduction, sort of a little bit of a comparison of the two trailers. Next one will be one of the do-it-yourself videos. But let's be fair. I had over 4 years to modify my A-frame. I think it's okay if it takes me at least a few weeks to get started, but there will be some do-it-yourself videos pretty quickly. And the first one's going to be getting rid of that elephant in the room. Having a cute little tiny little house on the road like this can actually be quite romantic. And if you set it up properly, you can have a little table for two with a view, maybe a little bit of nice wine, invite a special friend, and enjoy all the wonderful aspects of being out in the wilderness. A nice little cozy abode. What could be more romantic than that? Hey honey, can I trade you the hot sauce for the toilet paper? Where'd she go? Oh well, king deserves his throne, right? Hope you enjoyed this video and check out my other ones as well. Oh, good vintage. Taking care of business. Woo!